Workhorse Group, an EV startup, has had a string of questionable financial decisions that amounted to enormous losses and a loss in the stock price of over 95%. Workhorse has seen its cash position dwindle from 140 million last year to only 62 million, and its Q2 cash consumption of 65 million is enough to deplete remaining liquidity by next month. Workhorse has also struggled to generate meaningful revenue. Its 4 million in Q2 sales also came with a 5 million jump in unsold inventory, and a glut of unsold EVs is decreasing prices across the board. Let's get into this article before we get into the analysis. It is coming from Yahoo by way of Freight Waves. Workhorse falls short on votes to increase share count. So Workhorse fell short in its first attempt at getting shareholders to more than double the number of authorized shares in the electric step van manufacturer. So the reason why they're doing this is they need capital, right? They're about to run out of capital and potentially file bankruptcy, just like Proterra did several weeks ago. And other EV makers are also on that thread of going bankruptcy as well. Mullen comes to mind, Nikola comes to mind, just to name a few. The Cincinnati-based company will count proxies again on Friday. It hopes for approval that would sell up to 250,000 new shares of stock to raise capital. The move would dilute the value of shares held by current investors as new shares are registered. As of this past Monday, 49.68% of all Workhorse shares were voted in favor. It needs 50+% to pass the vote to increase the number of shares outstanding. The company said 85% of all voted shares supported the proposal. A proxy solicitation firm is rounding up votes because so many of its shareholders are individual rather than institutions. So this is kind of key to individuals, meaning the retail community is holding the bulk of the shares at Workhorse. Raising capital through new shares is popular for cash-strapped companies unable to tap still tight credit markets. NVIDIA shareholders voted on August 3rd to double the number of its authorized shares to 1.6 billion. It had twice adjourned its annual meeting because the proposal lacks sufficient votes to pass. Now, Nikola ultimately achieved this goal because the state of Delaware lowered the threshold for passage of share increase measures to a majority of votes on proposal rather than the higher bar Workhorse is trying to clear. Now, we also seen Nikola's shares after the additional shares outstanding spike, but then to go lower. So if Workhorse does get their proposal passed, you should expect the same thing, meaning any pumps in the stock price would be an opportunity to short. Again, they're about to run out of money. So this is the weekly chart, and my eyes gravitate to this last pullback, which ran into support, which is now resistance at the $1.40 level. So that was an opportunity to short. Or if you need a confirmation, you could have waited until you had this trend line break. Now we can see for the week thus far, Workhorse is green. Potentially you have a double bottom, which is a bullish reversal formation. But again, fundamentally, I don't anticipate price reversing, and that reversal being sustainable. Now let's go down to the daily chart. Now you have a couple of barriers, right? So if you were confident that Workhorse was going to be around the next 5 years, and if you bought shares at 80 cents, well, your upside is 80%, right? Not only do you have to deal with this weekly support resistance band, you also have to deal with the 200-day moving average, which will serve as dynamic resistance. Here's a beautiful setup. This is kind of like an A setup. You have a drop in price, a basing candle and a drop, retest. So that was daily sellers at the 140 level. So that 140 level is a huge resistance ceiling for price. Now I'm not saying you're not going to get a spike up in price. As you know, this last leg down, there's really no sellers in the area. So can price get back to $1? Certainly. But the fundamentals point to lower prices. And this technical bullish reversal double bottom might be short-lived. So look for a bounce before price continues its next leg down. Next price prediction is going to be 50 cents. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, please. Like the video.